I definitely want to welcome everyone who has shown up here today for Stanford High School's presentation. Unfortunately, like in the previous years, we usually have I want to say, an extraordinary event at Stanford High School with the band playing and the parents coming in, the students coming in, and it's a wonderful thing to see the incoming ninth graders show up at Stanford High School. But obviously, due to certain circumstances, we're unable to do that this school year. But we truly appreciate you taking time out today to learn more about Stanford High School and what kind of get a preview of what the next 4 years are going to be at Stanford High School. The purpose of this is obviously you're not going to know everything that you need to know the next 4 years, but it's really just to give you the information to help parents and to put them in a position to support their children. So we're going to go through some major themes. Of course, at the end, we'll have time for some questions and answers. For those who are unable to attend, we are recording this event. And we will definitely post it to Stanford High School website. In addition, in previous years, we usually have students come in the building and we provide tours. We're looking into doing that in August in small groups, and you'll get more information about that during the summer. So your students will have a little advantage as far as what the building looks like and have a tour, see where their classrooms will be. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce the principal of Stanford High School, Mr. Menka. And let him take the mic.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much, Tom, for arranging this. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy lives to join us tonight. I know that this is not, the air quote ideal situation, but an opportunity for us to talk, meet some folks, get some basic information. You'll get flooded with information tonight, but we just had to start with a couple very, very simple things. And first and foremost, as you know or might not know, my name is Raymond Menka. This is my 6th year being the principal at Stanford High School. Before that, I did serve for 6 years in Stanford Public Schools as an assistant principal, a few at West Hill, and we don't really tell the kids that, but also at Stanford High School. And I really loved my time working in Stanford, and I've grown to really know and love the community and all that it offers our students. And I'm excited to be able to meet you over the next several years and learn who your children are and help them grow as people and grow as learners. I also want to let you know that I am broadcasting from home tonight, so anytime you could hear my 3 crazy children yelling in the background, hopefully it's mild language and or a wild animal barking. So I do apologize in advance. But with those jokes aside, we've all been, in some very unique circumstances for the last year and a half. And with that, between remote learning, back to full, some people are in DTLA, some people are in the remote hybrid right now. Just if there are students on the line right now, stay strong, finish this year strong, have persistence, grit, and determination. I ask you to listen to those 3 words of wisdom, really work through the rest of this year and be able to get to a point where this summer you can actually join us and visit Stanford High School. And I swear within the next few months, I have this feeling things are going to start to turn in the right direction, and we're going to have an experience at Stanford High School for the next 4 years that you're really going to enjoy. So thank you, Tom, for going through that next slide. We've got some wonderful folks that are joining us here tonight, everyone from our school counseling staff to our grade level administrators. Mr. Augusto is going to go through a piece. We've also got Mr. Passamano about athletics. We've got Ms. Clark for the IB program. And any of you who happen to be the ECS families, I know that you met, I believe, Tuesday night with Mr. Sienna, the program leader. So he's not here tonight, but if you've got any questions about that, we can actually talk about that at the end. Tom, you can go to the next slide, please. So I'm sure you're all coming from schools where you've got your mission statements or your core values and belief, and this is usually a document that's inside all the classrooms. It's a document that hangs inside offices. It's something that schools have in Connecticut through NEASC accreditation, but this is something that we believe in. And this statement, and you can read through it, I really want to just point out a couple of very key words and phrases, and they show up on the next slide too. But we believe in the 4 C's at Stanford High School, and it's about critical and creative problem solving and thinking, and it's also about collaboration and communication. We want people to be able to be advocates for themselves. We want students to know how to work in small groups and be able to effectively share their opinions. respect other people's opinions, work with diverse people and learners. It's a microcosm of the real world. So that's what we're trying to emulate in our classrooms. That's what drives our professional development. That's what drives the grants that we strive to get for our students yearly. And I'm proud to state that over the last 6 years, we've got millions of dollars of grants in surplus of what our budget has been, developed for our operating budget for the school. And those are grants that we'll continue to pursue based on what our students need. So I'm excited to figure out the kids that will be coming on your children that will be coming to our school next year, and what we'll focus our efforts on to help supplement their teaching and learning for the next couple of years. This is that slide well, Tom, if you go back for 1 second. The last point that I didn't really talk about, and it's what we'll go into next, is thinking critically, creatively, communicate and collaborate. That last one's also important to us at Stanford High School, and student agency is something that we want our students to be able to find something in their mind and in their heart that drives them. It's that desire to want to come to school, not need to come to school. They want to come to school because they're going to be part of Upward Bound, or they're going to be part of Build On. They're going to be part of Avid. They're going to be part of any sort of group, club, drama, debate. We want them to be able to find it, and then through that group, we want them to build strong relationships. We want them to build trusting relationships. And we want them to use that platform of what they find to be able to reach out and go farther. Can they help others? Can they collaborate with other organizations outside of Stanford High School through internships, through collaborations, through the senior internship experience, mentorship, you name it. And we're proud to be able to offer all those things to our students over their 4 years worth of time at Stanford High School. And those are things that you'll be able to learn about over the next 4 years. Tom, next slide. And as you've all heard over the last several years, and this started with Superintendent Kim, and it stands today. When we first started as a group at Stanford High School 6 years ago, we had what we called the 4 A's, and they're about academics, attendance, attitude, and attendance. And that's what we've evolved those 4 A's into the mind, body, and heart. We believe in people. We believe in our staff. We believe in your children. We believe that everyone can achieve. We know that students are going to struggle. There are going to be challenges, but we're in a safe environment, and we've got caring people around to help nurture, help pick those students up, help them figure out how to not have those same issues, troubles, challenges again. And as we grow from 9th grade to 10th grade, and there'll be a learning curve. And it has nothing to do with getting lost in the building. That's part of it for 2 weeks. But the schedule is going to be pretty easy. It's going to be simplified. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about any of the stories that there's going to be kids sending you to the parts of the building that don't exist. That's all mythology. We've got a great group of kids at Stanford High School. I'm proud of them every day. We've been able to get through some super great highs and some super great lows. We just lost a graduate the other day, and it was a sad day in time. It still is. But we're there for each other, and we feel each other's pain. We're there to support one another, and that's what makes me proud to be the principal at Stanford High School. And it makes me lucky to work with such great people that you're going to hear speaking about tonight. So with that, I would like to Tom, this is me, right? Is this my slide?
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah. So I just want to introduce you to some of the names, and if you're on your computer and you want to take a quick screenshot, that might be a nice way to be able to just capture some of that basic information. But I also want a shameless plug right now that besides all the stuff that you see right here on the screen, feel free to visit our website, stanfordhigh.org. It's simple enough, stanfordhigh.org. Feel free to follow us on social media, Stanford_high_principal. I'm on Instagram. It's about the kids. It's about their achievements. It's not about me. So if you want to see the great things that our kids are doing, start to follow now. All right. And you can see all the great, and you can start to feel like you're part of the family at this point in time. Mr. Moynihan is here tonight. He is going to be our 9th grade administrator next year. You're going to be cycling with Mr. Moynihan for the next 4 years. He's going to be your grade level administrator. He moves with you. So you can build those relationships. You know who he is. You know his email. You know his lovely smile. And you know that you can figure out and find out wherever he is all the time. Mr. Escobar will be that 10th grade administrator. He's there to help you out along the way also. Mr. Escobar is a Stanford High graduate, also speaks Spanish fluently. So if there are any families or kids at any point in time that needed help, he's a wonderful asset to us. Dr. Berlage is our 11th grade administrator. She's been here for quite some time too. Dr. B, you've been here for about 12, 13 years now too, right?
I think 8.
I was close.
I came with you.
Yes, okay. And, right, you were at West Hill with me. But she was one of our mathematics department heads. She became an assistant principal, and she's been doing a great job of it. So Dr. B will have an opportunity to speak as well. Mr. Forker will be the 12th grade administrator. Mr. Forker is also a graduate of Stanford High School. He is a vibrant smile and wonderful upbeat attitude at all times. We love him dearly, and he will be a wonderful asset for your children over the next 4 years. And Mr. Passamano, our athletic director, he'll be here tonight to tell you a little bit about some of the resources that we offer to our children. Myself, and of course, Dean Augusto, who also speaks Spanish, but I can let you classify the level of fluency in which you speak, Tom. Other than that, at this point, I would like to pass it over to Tom. Again, I thank you all for attending. Please feel free if you have any questions or follow-up after this. And I know we've got a Q&A session at the end, but it'll be short. Drop some questions in the chat box as we go through. It's that little icon up at the top that looks like a dialogue box. You know, I'll be watching and listening, so will the other administrators. And then, of course, feel free to email us as the night goes on, or if thoughts come to your head over the next several days. Other than that, Tom, and thank you all.
Awesome. I'm going to turn the mic over quickly to Mr. Monia.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Ray, for that introduction. So I'm Mr. Moynihan, and as Mr. Manka just told you, I'm going to be your administrator for the next 4 years. I've been at Stanford High a while now. I was here way back in 2006 when I joined Stanford High and became a Black Knight. And in that time, I was a special education teacher. I worked in history classrooms. And after a brief departure for just a year, came back as an assistant principal 3 years ago. But you actually will be my first class that I will follow from beginning to end. So I'm graduating my seniors this year, the class of 2021. And that makes you my first class for 4 years. You'll be the class of 2025. And it makes me feel even older just saying that. But your 4 years at this point looking forward to them. It seems like it's going to take forever. It's a lifetime away. But in fact, those 4 years are going to fly by. You're not going to believe it, but before you know it, you're going to be walking across the stage, you're going to be getting a diploma, and you're going to be going, where did all that time go? So I'm going to give you just one really important piece of advice tonight before I just talk a little bit about kind of what your experience is going to be like next year. And my only piece of advice to you tonight is, from the moment that you walk through the doors of Stanford High and become a Black Knight, I encourage you to take full advantage of every opportunity that is laid out in front of you. That means taking the classes that you're taking, but it also means getting involved in sports, in clubs, in drama, and the art programs. We have such a diverse plethora of opportunities for our students at Stanford High, and I just want you to take full advantage of that. Don't graduate in 4 years going, I wish I had done this. Do it. So that being said, just a little bit about what to expect when you join us in the fall. As you can see on the screen here, there's a bunch of different logos for our 5 freshman teams. And what's going to happen when you join Stanford High is you are going to be sorted into one of these 5 teams. And your first year at the high school will be with a team of teachers where they're going to be teaching your kind of 4 core classes, your English, social studies, math, and science courses. And you will have in common with the other students in your team those 4 teachers throughout the day. You'll be in a building where those 4 classes will be held, and that'll be where you spend a good chunk of your day. And that's going to be what's called our new building. It's the 3rd building in a series of 3. And so you're going to have kind of a very sort of insulated experience. It's going to help you transition into high school because you're coming from a middle school environment where I know you have teams. And this is just a way to help you kind of get into high school with a more supportive and helpful environment. So in addition to, you will have classes throughout other parts of the building, be in classes, in some elective classes, for example, where you'll be mixed with other grade level students. But you always have that core to come back to. And I just want to say about those teams that these are teachers who specifically in years past have requested to be part of the freshman program. They are among our best teachers in the school, and they are there for you, and they care about helping you have the best possible experience as you come to Stanford High. So I'm going to turn it back over to Tom, Mr. Augusto, I should say. But thank you so much for coming tonight, and I look forward to meeting you in person next fall.
Awesome. Thanks, Monahan. So my name is Mr. Augusto. I'm the Dean of Students, Stanford High School. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself before. I've been at Stanford High School for 3 years. Prior to being at Stanford High School, I was a school counselor at West Hill High School. So I'm super excited to talk about some of the things that we offer here. With that being said, some of this information is may be repetitive, but I think it's important. And these are a lot of common questions I get as Dean of Students from parents their first year. Is obviously we go by a GPA at Stanford once you get to high school. So grades are important, but each one of those grades calculates into a GPA. And I think that's very imperative for students to understand. So one of my responsibilities this, during the open houses, I apologize, when I go to visit the middle school, is I really try to focus in on this to get them in that high school mindset of what a grade level is. What is an A? Is it a 4.0? What is a 0? Because this is what the colleges are going to be looking at their GPAs, and really having them focus on each quarter and how important it is to be successful in each quarter, in addition to the midterms and finals, because those are a significant portion of their final grade. And their final grade is what shows up on their high school transcript. Another common question I believe a key component to supporting your students in high school is PowerSchool. And PowerSchool, you may be familiar with it, but it's the first line of communication between teachers and parents. And then it's so important that as a parent of a high school kid, you are constantly looking at the PowerSchool and seeing the grades. Anytime you have issues with a grade, or you have a question about a grade that's inputted, you can reach out directly to the teacher. So that really streamlines the process with communication. Teachers are required to update their PowerSchool information every 2 weeks. So you're getting updated information with PowerSchool. Anytime there's some inconsistencies, don't hesitate to reach out to the school counselor or myself, Dean of Students. This past month when I go to the middle schools, I try to enforce to the middle school students about 3 myths. And I guess some of the myths that students have regarding high school is that your freshman year doesn't count. And my argument is your freshman year is the most important, because it's the year that they're going to be in. You can't do anything about your sophomore, junior, or senior year because you're not in there. So in order to have a successful sophomore, junior, or senior year, it's imperative that you get off to a good start. And one of my responsibilities here at Stanford High School is to assist in that transition. And so I create clubs like the Breakfast Club, where we get to really talk about their transition from middle school to high school. A common myth is that their junior years are the most important. And this kind of goes back to the freshman year doesn't count. And it is true their junior year is important, but in order to have a good junior year, I firmly believe you need to have a good freshman and sophomore year. So that really puts the focus on the next September to really get in with that mindset of starting off good. There's going to be some bumps in the road, and that's to be expected. But you definitely want to get off to a good start. And last but not least, we have an attendance policy at Stanford High School that we do enforce. We've been more flexible in previous years, obviously, to COVID. But in order for your child to be successful, they need to be in school. And I constantly strive that. Obviously, if they're diagnosed with COVID, we don't want them in the building. If they're quarantined, they can't be in the building. But those days that they should be in school, all the support that you can provide them, ensuring that they are in school, would really go a long way in ensuring they have a successful freshman year. Mr. Escobar, he's a big fan of data. He was able to create a chart, and it really shows the impacts of attendance. And we show this to the students so they really understand how important GPA is. And as you can see with the class, these are not West Hill students. These are not New Haven students. These are Stanford High School students, and how successful they are when they show up to school. And if you can see here, 55% of the students who have less than 10 absences the full school year have a 3.0 GPA or higher. And that just goes to show you how important attendance is. And if you add these 16%, more than, let me do the math here, I should have done the math before, 70% of the students, 70% of the students will have a B or higher if they have less than 10 absences. And so that's critically important. So I won't go on. I think you guys get the point regarding the attendance. If you keep looking to the right, it kind of gets worse. So we will touch that part. But if you can focus on getting your child to school, if the students can focus on getting to school, they will be successful at Stanford High School. Another common question that I get from parents and students is, what schools can I go to? You essentially can go to any school, and that's the fortunate part of where we live, is you do have access to so many opportunities here, and the sky is the limit. I was just talking to a student today, and she was accepted to Boston College, which is incredible. So if there is a school on your list, I tell students, write that school on your list, put the GPA up, and you really have something to work towards these next 4 years. Some of the clubs and activities, like Mr. Monahan says, get involved. We definitely have wonderful activities here. There's a couple of clubs that I'm the advisor for, Building Bridges, in which we try to connect gaps between, we try to connect teachers with students and vice versa, different populations. I still am the advisor. Unfortunately, the Boxing Academy no longer exists due to COVID, but I'm the advisor of Boxing Academy, where they learn the skills to box, not how to fight, but learn how to box. But if you look here on this list, there's something here for everyone, and that's the beautiful part about Stanford High School. There really is something. And if your child to see something that they have a passion for, please just have them reach out, and right away I will sit down with them and we will draft up a plan to really try to get something going at Stanford High School. With that being said, I'm going to pass the mic over to Ms. Nuzzo. Is she here?
She is.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Jerry Nuzzo. I am Department Head of Counseling, and my slide just disappeared, Mr. Augusto.
No worries, no worries. I was just checking. Okay. I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Oh, goodness. All right. So what is listed here are the topics that counselors deal with over the course of 4 years. So you can have a general idea of the things we address and that we present to your students. There is a counseling curriculum that has been established and set by the state for grades 9 through 12. So counselors will be working with your students several times a year on different topics that have been deemed important for each school year, 9 through 12. Obviously, we begin 9th grade with an introduction to high school and, dealing with study skills and the importance of their academics and so forth. The other things that counselors deal with, obviously, would be counseling, educational, social, emotional. Naviance, I believe you're familiar with it because you have worked with Naviance, I believe, in the middle school level. And there are different areas that Naviance addresses throughout the years. Your students probably dealt with maybe surveys, maybe some career exploration, and various things like that. But Naviance at the end of the line, when they're seniors, is the way they apply to college. So they will use Naviance as the electronic tool in which to, hook up their applications, their teacher recommendations, their transcript, and so forth. And that would electronically get sent over to colleges. So Naviance is something that is really important to become familiar with. Parents, will be able to get on and see Naviance also. So it's a good tool to use with your students. Student success plans are basically part of Naviance, one of the things that is in Naviance, but a success plan is a 4-year plan for your students for their academic programs over the course of 4 years. They will, grade level meetings with counselors. Sometimes we meet in groups and give our grade levels information that everybody needs to hear. And then we will meet with them individually to address particular issues for each student. One of the things we definitely do in freshman year is after that first report card comes out, we are meeting with them individually to address any concerns, any questions, or anything about their grades and the way the report card looks. Down the line, you will have a financial aid night for senior parents. We do a college and career fair every October. It alternates with West Hill. So one year it is at Stanford High. The next year it would be at West Hill. I have always done a college night for junior parents to give them an idea of what to expect in the college application process. We are intimately involved with scheduling. We typically meet with your students one-on-one to discuss the courses that they would like to take. We support the PSAT and SAT and AP testing, and ASVAB is the Armed Services test, but they have a very comprehensive and good career exploration survey that's great for all kids to take. It doesn't commit you to the armed services, but it is very telling in terms of strengths and weaknesses for your students. So that's the overall view of the counseling program. The credit requirements in front of you, you've probably heard by now that there is a uptick in the amount of credits required, starting with the graduating class of, is it 2023? Yes, 2023. So that will be your students included, and this is the breakdown. So the breakdown now is for English to have 4 credits, 3 social studies, 3 math, 3 science, 1 year total in phys ed and 1 in health. They have now added a year of world language, and there are subject electives that are required. So there is 1 credit in art, 1 credit in a humanities, which would basically be any one of the above 3 you could get another credit in. In math, you must have 3 credits, including algebra and geometry, 3 credits in science, and then 3 credits in STEM electives. So STEM electives would be in the math and science area or in our sort of business tech electives. And the mastery-based learning, I cannot directly address right now because that is still in the developmental phase. Our students obviously will need it for next year. They have a committee to determine what topics will address mastery-based learning. So I really can't give details. But in relation to the questions about 8th grade topics, there are, courses carrying over. World language will carry over to the high school transcript as a course taken for credit. It does not transfer grade. So it will not enter into a GPA. A grade point average on a high school transcript is 9 through 12. So there is no grade from middle school that enters into a GPA, but in terms of credit counts, in terms of credit totals, your world language will enter in, and your algebra and or geometry will enter in. And that is if you receive a C or better. If you receive a D or you don't pass the course, it will not be counted in your credit total. So I think that will answer the question about what counts on a transcript for from middle school. The subject area electives were things that you chose for your students with a middle school counselor. We do not have access to their schedules at this point in time. So any questions you have about courses selected or electives selected would be addressed at your middle school. We cannot guarantee electives. We guarantee core academic subjects. We don't guarantee electives, which is one of the reasons why I've always suggested that you select more than one so that the counselors can enter alternatives, and hopefully your student will get one of the ones that they selected. So I think that is probably, I'll answer any questions at the end about that. And this is just a list of all the courses we have. I mean, it's probably, you might want to, if you want to screenshot it or whatever. I mean, this is over the course of all their years in school. And you can see at the bottom the totals of honors in AP, ECE, IB. We have a very strong program, and students can exit our high school with a very strong transcript that will make them eligible for the best schools around. So it's really a family and child decision as to, you know, how competitive you want to be, but you should understand that the college recommending grade, GPA, is a B. So that is the grade you need to esteem to get in any of these courses you take. So just, you know, some parents question whether it's better to take, you know, a high level course and get a low grade in it. And in general, that's probably not the best option, because schools are looking for the level at which your child performs the best. So you want to show them that. So I think that's the last slide I have, but
Yes.
thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Ms. News. I appreciate it. Mr. Passamano?
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Passamano. I am the athletic director at Stanford High School. Again, welcome. Look forward to having you guys. Like Mr. Moynihan, I am also your children are going to be my first 4-year group. This is will be my 4th year next year at Stanford High. A little of my background: I came to Stanford 3 years ago, although I live in Stanford for many years now. I was the dean of students and the baseball coach and the swim coach at Norwalk High School prior to coming to Stanford. I want to give you a little bit of information about the athletics program and where to find information. So the first is, this is a screenshot of our website. If you go to the Stanford High School website and click on athletics, or you go to just Google Stanford Athletics, you'll come across our page. And here you're going to find a lot of information. You're going to find out what sports we offer. This is where you're going to register for your athletics. And then any information that I put out, you can find here. Stanford High School offers 28 varsity teams, including co-op teams, boys teams, girls teams, and co-ed teams. We offer them across 50 different levels of freshman, JV, and varsity. If you want to hit, at the top of this, and if you want to screenshot this too, you're going to see the Twitter. Yep, somebody's busy. The Twitter and the Instagram for the Stanford Athletics page. If you have a Twitter or an Instagram, I suggest you follow them. Again, like Mr. Manka said with his, this is not about me or any one particular thing. This is about highlighting our kids and getting out information. And I use both of those extensively in doing that. I'm going to go to the next slide. I want to talk about eligibility, because for freshmen, this is always one of the toughest things. There's a different set of standards when you get to high school, and we adhere to that. To be eligible, you need to hit 3 criteria. That's 3. The first one is you must have a 1.7 GPA. Now, on the surface, that sounds like 1.7 sounds really low. What 1.7 is, in actuality, is a C-. You must have a C- GPA at all times. You also must pass 5 classes. So you better, when you get your schedules, make sure that you have at least 5. Probably need to have 7 in order to get to that 25 over the course of your 4 years. But you need to pass 5 classes at all times. And then the last one is you need to be on pace to graduate. What that basically means is you need to be matriculating to the next grade level every year. If you fall too far behind, you will not be eligible. Anybody that is between a 1.7 and a 2.3 is going to be required to go to Nightlife. Nightlife is our after-school academic assistance program. It's for athletes, but it's open to anybody. We turn nobody away. We picked 2.3 because 2.3 is what you need to have to be college eligible in terms of GPA. The Nightlife program is run in the school. It's either in a college or career center or in the cafeteria. It's there Monday through Friday after school. It starts before school ends and before practices begin. So the kids that are required to go there 3 times a week, they can look at their schedule, pick the best days that work for them, and then they can go and get the assistance they need. And a lot of times, to be very honest, kids go there and they get their homework done. One of the biggest detractors of grades for kids, especially freshmen, is they leave, they go home, and then they just don't finish their homework. This is a great way to avoid that problem. Next slide.
Yes, sir.
So this is what nightlife, what I was just talking about. This is kind of an overview of the whole thing. Hey, listen, nightlife is not a punishment. Kids are going to look at it like that, especially out of the gate. This is to keep everybody on track. What we've learned in the 3 years of doing nightlife since I've been here is that the kids that go 3 times a week and do it with regularity, their GPA from one marking period to another usually increases. The average is 0.8, which again doesn't sound huge until you think of a kid walking in there with the 2.0 and walking out with the 2.8. All of a sudden, it's a wholly different world. And there's a whole lot of different options that open up with that GPA. Next slide. Lastly, you're going to want to plan your courses with your guidance counselors. And this, if you go on our website, you're going to see this, but you're going to see it for all 4 grades. But for 9th graders, if you have aspirations of playing in college, we're going to help you get there as best we can. You need to start planning that right out of the gate. You want to make sure you're taking courses that are required. You're going to want to find your high school lists of approved courses on the Eligibility Center on that website there. And that's also, you can also find that on our website. And you're going to want to start by filling out and signing up for the Eligibility Center and getting your name onto the NCAA Eligibility Center. It seems premature to do it in the 9th grade, but the sooner you start it, the less you have to do later and the less scrambling you're going to have to do. Lastly, I just want to say that my goal for you, for your kids, is to feel about being a Black Knight the same way that I feel about being a Cowboy, which is the mascot from my high school and all my high school athletics. And everybody's going to laugh when I say it because they always do. And being a Sun Devil, because that is my college and my college athletics. And it's part of who I am. It's part of the fabric of my world. If you could tell the pictures behind me, they're all from Arizona, where I went to college with my kids. And I want your kids to walk out of here being as proud of being a Black Knight as I am of being a Black Knight and being those other entities as well. So I'll be around also to ask questions. You can always email me or give me a call in the office, and I'm good about getting back on both. I look forward to meeting your kids, and I look forward to having a great year next year.
Thank you, Mr. Passamano. Ms. Perry?
Great. Good evening. Hi, I'm Deborah Perry. I'm the Special Education Department Head, and I work with the Assistant Principal, Matt Forker. Below is our contact information. And I just want to introduce the Special Education Department a little bit. So we, as a Special Education Department, offer classes in all areas, in inclusion, in self-contained, and specialized classes. We provide opportunities for students to meet their graduation requirements and to support their learning. We have all the classes in the main areas for special education to help support the students with their learning. And like Ms. Nuzzo was explaining, Guidance has their own model. We use the transition assessments to help support the students in their learning. This, again, just like Mr. Passamano and Mr. Moynihan said, this is my 3rd year as department head and 4th year here at Stanford High School. We have really, tried to support our students, like Mr. Manka was saying, to have them be ready for graduation in 4 years and help them support for the transition in the future to be as independent learners as possible. So it's great meeting everybody virtually.
Thank you so much. Ms. Clark?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany Clark Flynn, and I am lucky enough to call myself the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program Coordinator at Stanford High School. I'm an alumni, graduated class of 2000, and I've been at Stanford High teaching and running this program for the last 17 years. We're currently in year 3 of the program, and it's something that I'm really excited to get to talk to our 9th grade parents about, because it is a fairly new opportunity that Stanford High is lucky enough to have. Other schools in our state, there's only a few that offer this. And it's something that really can benefit our children. And as ninth grade parents, something that you should consider and learn more about, and approach me or email me for more information or to talk about scheduling decisions that you might want to make regarding this program. So I'm excited to share a little bit about it tonight. Next slide, Tom.
You got it.
So what is the IB-DP? That's what we call the IB Diploma Program. It's basically a challenging but doable college level program that begins junior year. And I want to emphasize the doable part of the program, because even though we are treating our students like college students, we have an extremely supportive staff, and we really function like a small school within a school to support our students. And we have options for our top tiered students at Stanford High, but we also have options for our struggling learners as well. So it's something that everybody could do, and something that's important for them to prepare for college. All of our classes are 2 years long, and that's a little bit different than what I know we're used to. The 2-year model actually gives us time, our teachers time, to go into both depth and breadth in a subject. Our students are covering everything they need to know about a subject in this program, so that when they get to college, they're truly prepared with all the content knowledge that they need. But they're also digging really deep into the content so that they understand the concepts, and so that they have time to work on skills that are going to be really important for their college experience. Things like communication, inquiry, research, collaboration are all things that we utilize those 2 years to accomplish. We are a program, so everything we do connects. We have an amazing theory of knowledge class that we offer, which isn't content-based, it's basically question-based. And in that class, all of our students are asking critical questions like, how do we know what we know? And is what we know bias? And all of our teachers are informed on what's going on in the curriculum in that class, so that they can ask those same questions in the different content areas. And that allows everything we do to connect, and it allows our kids to apply their understanding of content in one subject to understanding of content in many different subjects. And we're also all about international mindedness. The diploma program is an international program that exists in countries across the world for the last 50 plus years. And we really do focus on making sure that kids understand themselves, students understand themselves, but they understand others as well. We have an emphasis on learning another language and understanding other cultures. We offer studies about authors from different cultures, and we are constantly focusing on what's happening in other countries. So it's really important for our students to understand the world at large. Next slide. So what is the program? Just a quick overview. There's so much to talk about, but basically if a student was to apply for the entire diploma program, they would be taking 7 IB classes. They would also get to be part of what we call Research Foundations, which is a half-year course that we've designed for juniors that prepare them for all the skills that they need to learn how to do research. In that class, they are learning how to find information, how to read and annotate text, how to cite information, how to write thesis, how to organize that information, and it eventually leads up to them creating a thesis for what we call their extended essay. The extended essay is an extracurricular element where our students will actually, over the course of 2 years, get to write a research paper just like they would in college, but with the support of an amazing supervisor who has a passion for the same area that they're writing their extended essay in. And they actually get to choose their topic, which really makes it exciting for them to dig into something that they're currently interested in. Sometimes it's an extension of what they're doing in their classes, and sometimes it's a passion that's unrelated to their classes. And we also have creativity, activity, and service. And as Ray mentioned, the Stanford Public School motto is all about mind, body, and heart. And this is really the part of our program where we care about kids, and we are constantly trying to get them to take risks, be creative, create things, to be active, physically healthy, because we know the importance of that in their mental health as well, and to serve their community. All things that will make them well-rounded students, and all things that IB requires as part of that program. Next slide, Tom. One important thing to know, as a small little school within a school, we are really considering your child and who they are as we pick their courses for the program. So just know there are tons of options between choosing different classes that help them pick the best path based on where they've been in the past. But we also offer levels of specialization so that they can become experts in fields that they're interested in or passionate about. And then for the classes that they may not be as entirely interested about, we have different levels for those as well. And in our classes, one another important thing to remember for students is that they really do get a great amount of opportunity in every class as they do inquiry and research to pick topics that they're interested in. And it's really beautiful to see some of the work that they do and all the reflecting that they do on that work and the growth that they're making over their 2 years in the program. Next slide, Tom. So a lot of parents just ask, what are the benefits? And there are so many. You know, the most important one to me is that they're growing as people and as learners. They are becoming more open-minded, understanding how they think and how other people think, becoming caring about that, principled, you know, learning how to do research, learning how to communicate their thoughts both orally and in writing. So the skills that they develop in this program are absolutely incredible. But there are some other benefits when it comes to college. So they can receive an internationally recognized diploma if they do well on their in-class assessments as well as their exams at the end of senior year. And for some countries, that internationally recognized diploma is a qualification for admittance into universities overseas. There's also admission advantages, including college scholarships, you know, just being recognized by colleges as having taken the most challenging program at Stanford High School. There's also admittance into special programs, possible college credit, you name it, there's tons of stuff. Next slide, Tom. But one of the most important factors, I think, is really this slide, and it's slightly hard to see, but the summation of it is that when IB does research on, you know, how our students are performing in college, because we are truly preparing them for their college experience, you'll notice that the United States national average for graduating college in 4 years is only 41.1%. Now, this was back in 2013, but it gives us a gist of information. For a diploma candidate who actually receives the diploma, it's at about 75%. And for DP candidates who don't receive the diploma, just as valuable, 67%. You know, these kids are prepared, they're not dropping out, they're staying in on time with their scheduling. So it really is truly an amazing program that gets our kids ready for the workforce, ready for the world, ready for college. Last slide, Tom. With that being said, this is a really short summation of what we do in the diploma program. If you want any more information, feel free to check out our website where you can find journals on things that have been happening within the program. And also you can look at our classes that we offer and see what the curriculum's like for those. We're also on Instagram. You can follow what some of our amazing students are doing. And ninth graders can also shadow if they want some of our diploma program students to get a sense of how being in the program is a little bit different from a normal Stanford High School experience, and just to see what all of our classes are about. So thank you for your time. Again, T-Clark, so tclark@stanfordct.gov if anybody wants to email, and I'll just pop that in the chat because I don't think it's showing up on that slide. Thanks, Tom.
No, thank you, Ms. Clark. Appreciate it. So with that being said, that concludes our presentation, our virtual presentation for Stanford High School. Just a couple of reminders. This session was recorded. We will post it on our Stanford High School website. And also, in addition to that, we will post a virtual tour. And if you would like an in-person tour, we will have a sign-up sheet in the month of May, and we will make that happen in groups of about 10-15. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out. Are there any more questions in the chat box?
Tom, I'm sorry. No, I think we answered most, if not all, the questions live as we were going through. I just wanted to say one real quick thing before you wrap up the evening, Tom. You know, a lot of people have wonderful questions here. If you have something that's specific about special education or about one of the programs or academics, feel free to reach out to any of the cooperating directors, assistant principals. You can go to our website, and it says at the top, it's got, you know, about Stanford High School, about our staff. You can click on there, you can see our responsibilities. And if we're, you know, worst case scenario, if you're unsure, just email me directly, and I've put that in there, but it's at rmanka@stanfordct.gov. I'd be more than happy to help you out with whatever else that you might need. But again, thank you very much for your participation tonight.